Here.
Which is wood right now, Jeffrey?
Yes, it's wood.
Okay.
And then the third thing, this is another secondary chimney. And the proposed renovations on the inside of the house would necessitate removing that chimney. And on the exterior, obviously, this is a much more cost-effective solution, which is to just put some furring strips and some brick sheathing. The second solution is to actually feather in clapboard to match the house and make it all look like it was never there. And the bricks for this would come from the bricks from this chimney that we're taking out.
Okay.
So to go back to, so that's the Francis Street view. This is the Butler Street view. You can't even see the chimney from about 270 degrees of the peripheral view of the house. And like I said, it is a secondary chimney. It has no purpose. It's not connected to anything. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Cindy, how about you take the screen back over so that we can see some of your detail in the application, if you could.
Yeah.
Yes.
And while you do that, I will ask the commissioners if they have any questions or comments. Keith, can I start with you?
Yeah, Jeff, just one question on the chimney that you're going to take down. That has been a non-functional chimney. Was that a later add on that, as far as you could tell, that, or was that originally part of the structure?
I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you that that part of the house, if we can, Cindy, is it possible to scroll down to the Francis Street side, which is my second page? Thanks. This right here is the very original part of the house. This was all added on later, including the whole facade that you see on the Butler Street side. So I'm going to tell you that I'm going to say no. If you consider that the very, very original house was this little portion right here on the Francis Street side, I'm going to tell you no, that was not original, because this was all added on later.
Okay. And the brick, I think you said that the brick was going to be reused
on this chimney here.
Yep. And is that, did I read that that's going to be painted as well? You're just going to take that brick and paint it the
same as it looks right here, same color to match the siding and to match the, well, it will be the existing brick, but I'm assuming it needs to be repainted.
Okay.
I mean, just due to when you disassemble the chimney, I'm assuming that it's gonna, you know,
right,
to have a finished look, you're gonna have to repaint it.
Yep. And the I'm sure others will have questions about what the stack's going to look like when you re-brick it. Is it going to look like the mushroom top that you're looking at now, or are you going to have some other kind of detail on top of that, or is it going to be same
right now? We would just match the same profile as it is now.
Okay. And then could you comment on the siding, assuming that that chimney does go? You said you had furring strips, and then you had two options. One looks like an overlay where you're just going to fit it in, and then the other one is would be that you'd commented that would be a little more invasive, where you try and replace longer strips and make it look continuous. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Cindy, can you scroll down, please? Keep going. Keep going. I mean, okay, you can stop. Obviously,
Yep.
the easier from a labor and cost standpoint solution would just be to put 2 furring strips there and some brick, 3-dimensional, but real brick sheathing there. And Cindy, if you could scroll please to the next one down.
Meaning it would still look like it had, it would be flat along
Right.
the same plane as the siding and just look like brick.
Yes.
And then the other option is to do the full Monty and make it look continuous as if it
Right.
never existed. Okay.
Which is what, and by the way, I should point out in both cases, we're not looking at the old picture, but there's approximately 1 foot gable overhang, and obviously they would replace that so there wasn't a notch in the roof.
Right, and same with the pass through on the lower part. As
Exactly.
well, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because eventually the roof, well, it would have to be redone when the chimney comes out. So yes.
Jim, that's all I've got. I guess somebody else can quiz them on the doors and stuff like that. So I'll stop it there.
Okay, thanks, Keith. Nico.
I don't really have any questions at this time.
Okay. Garn.
I'm good. Thank you.
John.
Back to the chimney, Jeffrey.
Mhm.
It's dimensional, so you're proposing to take it off and then put brick where it was between those furring strips? I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Just sheathing. Like there's all manner of products that are stone and brick sheathing that are,
Oh, okay.
not very thick. And I suppose as I'm looking at Cindy, I'm sorry, can you scroll up again?
Sorry, I've lost all control of the meeting other than this. Which one do you want me to go to?
Oh, I'm sorry, back down. I'll tell you when to stop. Right there. And for all intents and purposes, now that you say that, I suppose you could just have the furring strips, which by the way, are much more prominent in this rendition, in this rendering, because I want you to be able to see them, but I don't think they would be that obtrusive. I suppose you could fill in that spot with more clapboarding to match, but you'd still have the 2 furring strips. The only difference between these 2 things is obviously from a labor standpoint and having to be very exact and all of that. I mean, trying to resheathe that whole thing and match the clapboards and everything is doable, totally doable. It's just more work.
It's kind of like when you do a wood floor, you have to feather it in, like
Yeah.
you would to make it to not have to do the whole side, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't have to do this whole thing. They would basically, notch out. There's probably some natural breaks anyway in the siding, but yeah, you'd have to feather it in.
Well, maybe someone else, Cindy or Tim, can, and maybe we just need to look at the guidelines. I've never seen this, so it doesn't seem like it fits the house to me. I'd rather
Right.
see the siding be continuous.
Mhm.
So that would be my comment on that. I don't know if we can dictate that, but it doesn't seem historical in nature. It doesn't seem common. So that's my comment on that. And then no one else asked about the door. Keith alluded to it. The door on the lower porch, that's a storage door. Where you said that was going to be centered. Is it going to be a flat panel door like that, or a raised panel to kind of go with the other one, or what?
The existing 2 doors are just flush doors. But to answer your first question, yes, this would be all on the side. To answer your second question, if you all think it would look better as a panel door, by all means, it could be a panel door.
No, I don't have a comment on that. Just wondered but it's going to be centered and basically the same thing.
It's not centered. It's all the way over.
Oh, just
on the right.
one. Okay.
You're
Okay.
right. A door is
Yeah.
being taken in the left, and then the one on the right is staying, right?
Right. That's basically what's happening.
And that's shown in this picture that's up. Okay.
But if you had a strong preference you know, it could easily, I don't think it could be a 6-panel door, but it could easily be a 3-panel door
No.
matching the same profile.
No, I was curious. I think that might even be, you know, it would draw attention to it. This is just letting it blend in, and it's a secondary thing. It's so I wasn't suggesting that. I was just
Oh,
wondering
okay.
if it was going to be a flat panel like shown, and that seems fine to me. I don't have any
Okay.
other questions. I think the brick on the other chimney is a good idea, and I'm assuming you'll patch the roof with the same roof materials where the chimney
Yes.
comes off. Yeah.
Because, and frankly, eventually the roof is going to have to be replaced anyway, not necessarily tomorrow, but for now, whatever, you know, patching up, mitigation, whatever, yes, would match the existing roof.
Good. Thank you.
So I catch everyone. John, you were the last one.
I think so.
I'm here.
Oh,
it's Jen.
Jennifer.
Oh, Jennifer, I'm
Hi,
sorry, I didn't see you there.
I couldn't get into the meeting originally, so I finally
Okay.
moved in. I think on the upper structure where the chimney is being replaced or being removed, I think either one is fine. It's not, I live across the street from it, so it's just not something you're going to see. It's on the back of the house on the Francis side. And I mean, I think feathering would probably be better to replace it wood. It would be, you know, in the long run, it would probably look better. But I just think there's a 1 foot overhang there and you're just not going to see it either way. Either way is, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And on the door, no one's going to see that except for the homeowner because it's behind a brick wall. That's
Right.
on the Francis side.
Right. That, and Jennifer, thanks, because that was the other point I was going to make, is that on the whole Francis side of the street, there's a rather high brick wall to begin with, so you can't even see half of this stuff anyway. So
Right. That's the only thing I wanted to say.
Okay. I'll not repeat what's been said. I generally agree. I would not, I would vote no on this without feathering this in. The furring strips and fill in, I think is not good, especially on a contributing structure.
Right.
It's hard for me to even take the chimney down, to be honest, one person's opinion, because I think it may not be the most historic part of the house, but I'm guessing it's pretty old. But I understand your functionality need. So I would personally only approve this if it was feathered in. I don't have any problem with the door. It absolutely should be flat panel and disappear, not drawing attention to it. I think one of my bigger questions is your patching of the roof, because this shows a black roof, but the photos show a green roof, which I think is going to be hard to match, isn't it?
back to. Oh.
Yeah, it's green. Which is a beautiful roof. So
I don't think it's green, is it?
Can
It's
you-
dark
Cindy,
out now.
Cindy,
I
can
can't
you
see
go
it.
down? Could you please go down to the next one?
might be the sun on it. Yep. Maybe not. It might be black. At any rate, I hope it's not green for the sake of patching, because I think the green would be hard to. But that's just a call out. But I think that's the least offensive thing. I think the patching with the first strips would be super offensive, and we have to remember this is a contributing structure, and both sides of the elevation, since it's on a corner, matter. So this to be my only comments. But
Okay.
I understand what you're trying to do.
All I can tell you is, as I said before, the roof is in not great shape. So they are planning at some point, and I don't have an exact time frame on that, but they are planning on replacing the roof anyway.
So it probably wouldn't last too long. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? If not, would anyone like to make a motion? And I would also suggest that a motion include some reference to materiality, like of the door, like a flat panel wood, things like that, since it's a contributing structure for our guidelines.
Excuse me.
Cindy, can you go back up to the application number? I'll make a motion. So I would make a motion to approve the application for 547 Butler Street, AKA 219 Francis, as submitted with the following materials specified: feathering in on the replacement of the chimney and a flat panel door for the door being removed, the door to be replaced.
Second, Lewis.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Garn. Any more discussion on this? If not, all in favor signify by saying yes. Lewis?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Leo?
Yes.
Canarsa?
Yes.
Straker's yes.
Thank
Okay.
you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Davenport is yes too.
Yeah, you're forgetting.
Good luck on your project.
This is my first like any kind of city council or historic commission meeting on Zoom. This is challenging.
You did well.
We got in a groove, then we got out of a groove. Now we're getting in a groove.
Okay, and hey, the only thing I just wanted to point out, my understanding is nothing's changed in terms of this is good for 6 months, correct?
1 year.
1 year. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, thanks so
All right,
much.
I'm going to sign out, but hey, you all, thank you again. Thanks very much.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks.
We
So,
will
so
go-
Tim, you got Jennifer's yes on that, right?
Oh, Jennifer, did I miss you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You did, but I voted anyway.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks for saying that, Garn. I get a mental number in my head when I do roll call, and you snuck in right after that. So
I
thank
couldn't
you.
get in.
Yeah, no, it was challenging today. Okay, we'll go on to our second and final application of 302 Culver Street. It looks like we have our applicant here with us. Hi, Fred.
Hi. First Zoom meeting, by the way.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us just a brief overview,
Yeah,
and then you
let
know
me
the
do
drill
that.
from.
Because I found out just a couple hours ago, my application could be a little bit premature because I spoke with Republic Waste a couple hours ago, and I'm going to meet 2 supervisors on the site December 15th to go over a couple of things. But basically, what we're trying to do is solve a garbage waste location situation at Saugatuck Muse, which is the newer building that went up at 129 Griffith Street. This is one of our I'd say many problems we have over there with different things that just really didn't get done right. So right now, all of the garbage containers are under the stairwells, which by fire code isn't supposed to be. Doesn't look like an immediate fire hazard, but by law, it is. So I want to try to build an enclosure similar to what is against the side of the building at Scooters to facilitate garbage for the residential units, the 8 residential units at Saugatuck Muse, in addition to the smaller commercial units, excluding the restaurant. The restaurant, I put in a sharing situation with the current dumpster with Scooters, Loco, Burrito, and Grow. So they would not be using what's proposed today. But again, like I say, it could be a little premature from the exact size. I measured all of this out, but I really want to meet with Republic Waste first. And again, I just got that call after this meeting was scheduled, so I don't want to take a lot of your time. I'd love getting a couple minutes of opinion though, if that's possible.
Well, Fred, in order to maybe keep you moving,
Yeah.
maybe what we do is we understand what you're asking for in your application, and we go
Okay.
ahead and we'll have some dialogue about it, and we'll vote on it.
Okay.
And my guess would be that you're probably talking about a scale change versus a wholesale project change. And if it's a scale change of moving a fence here or there, that could probably be handled with staff approval
Okay.
from the original application that we've already heard. So we could keep you moving that way.
Okay, that would be great. What I'd be proposing is the same material, which is wood, which is used with the current dumpster enclosure, although we're flexible, if you wanted something else done, but we would propose the same exact look with the wood and then the lattice work. Now, it wouldn't attach directly to the current enclosure, because behind the current, next to the current enclosure is an air conditioning unit. To be honest, I didn't know it was going in there. Scooters put in a splitter, and it's been attached to the stone behind the bushes on the wall. And I'm pretty sure we couldn't build an enclosure in front of a splitter unit. If there's a way to do it, we would do it, and it would save space. The reason I'm meeting with Republic Waste is I want to see if I could make this new enclosure shorter than 15 feet. If a different size dumpster fits in there and they can get access, I want to see if I could shorten it, make it closer to 10. But basically, even at the 15 feet, if you go to the picture, the photograph picture, it doesn't, just like the current enclosure, it would not come further than the railroad ties you're looking at. You can see some railroad ties right here. And again, also the current enclosure doesn't come to the pavement. It's right in the dirt area. Some of these bushes would go away. The couple in front of the AC unit would stay. These would go away. The enclosure stops before it gets to this yellow post. And what we would propose that we would do plantings right there, or we could also do a side barrier and plantings in front of it. So when you're walking down the sidewalk, you're not going to see the enclosure when you're walking one way on the sidewalk. You will see it when you're walking, let's say, from the SCA toward Butler, like you see the other one now. But it would not come out into the parking lot. It would look exactly the same as the current one, but it would be smaller. And I'm trying to make it smaller than what I proposed. And that's why I'm meeting with them.
Right. So let me just ask one question, and then we'll go around the table. But to start us off, just for clarity, you're proposing leaving the current structure as is, and then building a new structure to match to the size and placement that you've outlined.
Yes, about 8 feet away from the current one. And the only reason I'm doing that is because of that air conditioning unit. So
Nope.
we're also
I'm only
around
asking
that.
Yeah, I'm only asking in terms of the two things matching, if you were doing it all new or if you were matching the new to the old. So we'll go around the table. John, any clarifying questions or comments?
I guess full disclosure that Fred approached me on this already as a design client. I've done work for him. And so we did discuss this a little bit, and I suggested that he might not have to do any elaborate drawings or anything if he was to present something like he's presenting right now. So just to put that out there, but I don't have any comments. I think it's clear. And Fred didn't mention that the other alternative was to put it on the side of the Muse building. Right,
Okay.
Fred?
Yeah, so I met with the fire chief and the fire inspector and another gentleman from the fire department. What they wanted, and I didn't think it would go over as well, so I didn't propose it. Their choice was to put it on the side of the Muse building where the black, you could see there's a black wooden kind of siding there, and there's a little door. And the space in front of that, it's an extra wide space, and it isn't painted out as a parking space. I just thought that would be more obtrusive visually to put there. It's easier for access, it's easier for Republic Waste, it's easier to build, and it isn't currently a parking space. I just thought it would be a harder thing to ask for, so I didn't propose it. They said one of the two, but they prefer the other one. They just thought it was a better place to put it.
Thank you.
So can I ask a
John,
couple
any-
questions?
I don't
This is
have any
Brian.
questions. I just wanted to make that clear that I've
Yep.
already talked to Fred about this a little bit.
Thank you. Garn?
Yeah, so I've got a couple questions, having dealt with the trash issue at Isabel's. So a couple things. So Republic, you have not yet talked with about what is the best location for them, because I know that there's always an issue of ease of getting their truck to a trash receptacle. That's always a huge concern for them.
That's correct. So they already bring their truck right in front of this for the current enclosure. So what we were talking about is two 2-yard dumpsters. Those are rolled out manually.
Yeah.
So that you go there already.
Yep.
And I did talk to them, but now I've scheduled a meeting December 15th to really kind of drill down on it a little bit.
So you're wanting to keep those two trash receptacles separate because one's commercial and one's residential, or
No.
what?
No, for size reasons, and so they could move them out physically, so they could roll them out manually, because bigger, they can't do that.
Yeah,
So
I
no,
hear you.
that's the only reason to roll them
So-
out here.
And there's that much more trash created that you need an additional trash.
No, they would be eliminating all of the individual trash containers that they
Ah.
currently have under the staircases.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we're not adding any trash. We're getting rid of those because that's a fire violation.
Yeah, and what I meant to ask is, so by taking the trash, if you will, from the blue bins that are under the stairwells and putting it in the trash receptacle that's already there, that's just too much trash to add that to what's, okay,
Yeah,
Cindy's
that-
nodding her head.
That,
Okay.
yes, that current trash, the current enclosure is servicing 3 restaurants.
Got it.
Bruno Rosa, Scooters, Loco Burrito, and Grow. And
Mhm.
it's been servicing 3 for years.
Yeah.
And it's at capacity even with the 3 pickups per week.
Mhm.
And I added to Verna Rosa to the group and increased the pickups because it would have been
Yeah.
too much trash for something like this. This is for just residential,
Mhm.
and then the 2 other small businesses, which are the gallery, and I think there's a little cigar shop going in the corner unit of Griffith and the alley.
Okay, so are you gonna have to expand the concrete then to the west in order to put that additional,
The west toward the sidewalk, is that what you're asking?
yeah,
That's why I'm meeting with them.
okay.
One of the reasons
Actually, it's probably
trying to
south.
avoid it. That's one of the reasons I'm meeting with them.
Okay,
The good news is there's no parking space in front of this. There is pavement, and then there is some grass where you hit a tree and then the sidewalk. So if there was any that needed to be done, and we're trying to avoid it 100%, trying to avoid it altogether, it would be a small area where you see that arrow past the 16 feet, it would be around here, but we're trying to not have to do that at all, or not propose that. We would come back and propose it if we had to. We're trying to keep everything within here, just like this one.
Yeah.
At the edge of the pavement.
Garn, anything else?
oh, that's it.
Thank you. Keith?
No questions.
Thank you. Jennifer?
So you're not gonna lose the tree. It's not going that far.
Oh, no. We're trying not to even lose any grass. No, we're not gonna lose it. Definitely not gonna lose the tree. And it's a little misleading. It looks a lot closer in this picture than is reality. So no, definitely not.
And where's the alternate location that that Chief Janik wants?
The alternate location, I don't have a picture of that, is in the city parking lot. So if you remember this, the side of the gray building here, the new building, runs parallel to the parking lot. And in the middle of it, I don't know what's happening here, but in the middle of that, there is the block stops, and there's about a 10-foot square, 8-foot square black wooden siding on it. And in front of that is about a 1.5 car wide spot that is not used for parking. In fact, they deliberately painted the lines where it isn't used for parking. That would be an easier place to put it, but it's kind of in the middle of the parking lot. So I just proposed this because I thought visually this would be easier to get approved by both historic and the city. So there's no good reason not to put it there, except for the visually access. It's fairly easy.
Okay, I'm just.
And we're not
I'm
opposed.
just thinking, yeah, that just throwing it out there. Putting it closer to Culver and where people are walking, and it's more visible right where you're proposing versus back in the parking lot, which, kind of who cares?
I would be happy to
Yeah.
propose both.
I mean, that was just my impression. That was just my thought that I had. And
Honestly, it would be my preference. So I'd be happy to propose both at, let's say, the next meeting.
that was just my, because you're gonna lose some, I don't know, they're nice looking trees, but they're trees, and they're shielding the garbage structure already. And then to put another structure there, I don't know. I think further off Culver Street would be probably, that's just, my first impression, since we just saw this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then
happen,
it's closer to the building where the tenants are.
I happen to personally agree with you.
Okay.
I just didn't want to propose something I thought wouldn't really have much of a chance. But when I meet with them on the 15th, we'll look at that too. And that would be my preference if that could get approved. I just didn't know if it could.
Okay.
That's
Jen,
all.
anything else? Thank you. Nico.
Good points. No, I don't have any further questions.
I guess the only thing I would add to what you guys have brought up is what you're calling the parking lot, I sort of call the alley, if I'm thinking about it in the right way. Am I not? Is it the parking lot facing the SCA? Is that side of the building?
It's
Got
the opposite side. Oh, facing the SCA, facing the side of the SCA.
Yeah, on the
It's
side,
the opposite side of the SCA.
okay, correct. So it's not down the alley, not the alternate.
No, it is not down the alley. No.
Okay, good. I tend to agree with what folks have said. I think I agree with what Jennifer said about the proximity to Culver Street, but more importantly, anything you can do to mitigate fussiness on the Muse building is good, because there's already a lot of activity with drain spouts and dumpsters and electrical boxes and spalling. So I think the more if this could serve a dual purpose of cleaning that up, I would probably be an advocate for it being in the other spot as well. But this is a pretty clean solution too. I'm also the reason I asked in the beginning if you were going to replace the other fence or if you were leaving that one and this one to match is I'm not a fan of that fence. I think you could, lose the lattice and have an absence of design that is a little quieter. But that, you know, you're not required to do that. I was just asking if you were going to replace the whole thing. So I would probably be an advocate for the other location and cleaning up the side of the Muse and getting it closer to the residents.
I'm just curious, so I understand what you're saying. How would putting the enclosure there clean up the side of the Muse though? What do you?
Like,
Well, what I'm hearing you say, without the photos to substantiate it, what I'm hearing you say is there's a bunch of individual trash cans under a stairway, and that's a lot of stuff.
Oh, right. Both of these would get rid of those. Both of these would eliminate all those. Yeah.
Correct. So you're cleaning up the Muse by taking all the stuff that's under the staircase and putting them behind a fence, right?
And eliminating a fire hazard. Yes.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That'd be great. I'll, you know, give me a little more time. Let me take a look at that and propose it.
I'm
One-
looking
one
for
more.
a photo of that side of the building, so if you bear with me a minute.
Yeah, I figured that you were trying to get to the,
Just one more
Alex.
comment while Cindy's looking for that.
Yeah.
The materiality would change then, of course. It wouldn't need to be this. It could be, looks like there's black accents over there on the windows and railings and things. So that whole thing could change to be more in line with that building.
And
Right.
I could tell you, we would do whatever, you know, we'd be open to suggestions and, you know, use materials suggested and have it blend in and propose something that look good.
yeah, that makes sense. It's a good comment, John. Okay. So Fred, I don't know how much time you have on this. There you go. That's a great example of
Yeah.
a different thing. But to John's point, like that materiality of even that little fence kind of ties into the iron ore kind of color of what's going on in that building. So we could take a vote on this, or we could table it. Should we table it?
Yeah, actually, I'll go ahead and help with this. I move to table this application until the next meeting.
Okay. thanks,
Seconded,
Garn.
Davenport.
Thank you.
When is the
Jen.
next meeting?
January, I think.
January's 5th, I think. Thursday, whatever that Thursday is.
Good.
And then we'll see photos of that actual side, because Cindy, this was the only one you could find. This isn't where he's talking about.
No, this
Right,
is
yeah.
not, but this is the things that
Yeah.
make it cluttery.
I'll have it at the next meeting.
But that slatted enclosure, that color and everything would look,
Look good.
it would
Yeah.
look good and blend in and, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It'd
good
be a lot
suggestion.
easier for Republic Waste, I can tell you that.
The other
Okay,
thing that
we have a-
you should know is for both of these locations, there will be a revocable license required by city council. So because they're in the city parking lot, both of them, the buildings go right up to the property line. So the enclosure at either location would be on city property. So there would be a revocable license required from city council.
That's why I proposed this location instead of the other. I thought that would be a bigger hurdle with the city.
That's probably pretty common for the city, isn't it, Garn?
Cindy says no, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
But
Thought
yeah, let's follow the process through and then.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the table. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes. Davenport?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Canarsa?
We're saying yes to tabling it? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Straker's yes.
and Leo's a yes.
Sorry, I missed you. Gosh, I'm missing somebody on every single one. What is up with me tonight? Thanks, you guys. And thank you, Fred.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Catch it.
Time.
Thank you, Fred.
Okay, see you in January.
I think this stupid background that I can't get off my screen is making me dumb.
You're distracted. You want to be on the
You're on the-
beach.
You're on the beach.
Clearly. Horribly cheesy. All right. Are there any administrative approvals or updates?
None.
Any communication?
No.
Any more public comment? Any more commission comment? Yes, Garn.
Yeah, I have, I wanted to just fill you all in. I've been on the commission for almost 2 years, ever since I joined council, and have had recently a change in my responsibilities. So I am going to, and I've asked Lauren Stanton to assume my position effective in January. She lives in the historic district, so I think it'll be worth her being on the commission, and she'll bring a nice perspective.
Nice.
So I hope you're all good with that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best move.
That's good.
Thank
Okay.
you. Garn.
It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
You've been awesome. And I think it's a really great idea to have city council members as part of this group, even going on and on to understand the work of the group. So thank you for all you've done.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you all. It's been fun.
All right. Well, then I think we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in January.
We need to vote.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to see who I can forget this time. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Nico. Second?
Second.
John,
Bernardo?
John seconded. Any discussion about this very important topic? No? All right. All in favor signify by saying yes. Davenport,
Yes.
Nico,
Yes.
Canarsa,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
and me. Yes. All right. Thanks so much, you guys. We'll see you in January. Meeting adjourned.
Happy New
See you
Year.
later. Yeah.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, all that kind of good stuff.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yep.
Peace and
Bye-bye.
peace.
Bye.